How's it going, guys? Football-ManagerYouthDevelopment.co.uk here. Welcome to a brand new series where we're going to be looking at the A to Z of tactics on Football Manager. In this first episode, we're going to take a look at analysing tactics. If this is the first time you have watched a video on the channel, please do remember to subscribe the channel and of course press that like button.
Don't let the bass get you.
Okay, so to start this series off, we're going to be taking a look at the letter A, and of course it is with analysing your tactics. If you click on your tactics screen here on the left hand side, you've got the analysis screen here. The analysis screen allows you to have a look at your strengths and weaknesses of your tactics, and this can be a very good place to have a look for if you need to make changes with your tactics. I have been playing this particular save file for about 5 or 6 seasons now, and the amount of matches that you can see up to a maximum of 50 matches, but it basically will give you a rundown of everything about your tactics. So you can see here, for example, the amount of times that you've used the tactics, how many goals have been scored for and against using the particular tactics. Recently I have made a change to my tactics, so I've just started using this tactic here, and you can see that the amount of chances that I'm making for my team now using this new tactic is 27, and we've only had 6 against. This is quite early days in using this tactic, but it's obviously quite pleasing because considering before using my old tactic of 4-4-2, we created 64 chances for and 92 against. You are able to take a look at the analysis as such things as the goals, assists. So this is quite an interesting screen and one that I would highly recommend that you take a look at. For example, here that I can see that my team have scored 30 goals through crosses on the wings, and we've conceded 21 crosses. So the most of the goals that we are conceding, well, it's fairly similar, but we have conceded 21 goals through crosses and we conceded 17 goals through through balls. So there's quite a kind of mixture there of different types of goals that we've been conceding. Obviously things like corners and free kicks, we do seem to be conceding a fair amount of goals through free kicks and corners, so that's something that I certainly need to have a look at. In terms of free kicks and the amount of goals that we've scored, in the last 50 matches we've only actually scored 2 goals through free kicks, so that says to me that I do need to have a look at changing the way that I manage the free kicks on the game, and I need to come up with a decent routine that will suit the players that I have in my team. The assist location is another area where you can analyse your tactics, where things are going well and where things might not be going too well. So I can see here, and actually this is the first time that I've looked on this screen just through making this video, but I can certainly see that 21 of the assists that have come through crosses have come through my right hand wing. So I really do need to have a look at the right hand side of my defence just to see why they are attacking that particular area of the field. It might be that my defender is a little bit weaker at tackling from that area, and it might be that my left back is a lot better at tackling, so maybe he's getting a lot more tackles in, because that to me is a fairly significant jump basically. So I do think that I need to have a look, and it's quite obvious that the opposition are targeting my right hand defender, or my right hand side of the pitch anyway, and that's where they're getting a lot of joy. You can also take a look at the goal times. This is quite an interesting screen because it allows you to take a look at when you're potentially at your weakest. For example, I can see between the minutes of the 31st minute and the 45th minute, that is when we seem to be conceding a fair amount of goals, and also at the beginning of the game, within the first 15 minutes, we do concede a fair amount of goals as well. This to me seems to suggest that our concentration levels are not at their highest. We're certainly scoring quite a number of goals between the 61st minute and the 75th minute, which means that my team talks must be working at half time, and that the players are getting a little bit more motivated and they seem to be scoring more goals. In terms of the concentration levels of the players, this is something that their attributes are likely to be playing a part in. Obviously we do have the concentration attribute. Also there is the kind of shouts you can give the players, so you can tell them to stay like more focused and concentrate. So having a look at this screen enables me to have a look at this type of thing, and what I could start doing potentially is on the 31st minute, or from probably like the 30th minute, do a shout from the touchline just to tell my players to concentrate just so that we're not conceding that many goals before half time. Another area that I like to review often with my tactics is to have a look at the match statistics here. You can basically click on any match that you want to from the drop down here. Obviously these are all the matches from my previous seasons. You can see here, for example, in one of the last matches I played, or one of the earlier matches actually, you can see the amount of intercepted passes, sort of completed crosses, things like this. This is a very good area to take a look at when you are building up your tactics, just to make sure that you're taking a look at all the different types of areas. You can actually analyze pretty much anything on this screen, so the amount of shots, where you're taking shots, what's actually happening when you're taking shots as well. For example, you can see here the amount of block shots, shots that might have hit the woodwork, saved shots, goals, etc. You can do this with a lot of different areas and things like that. So when you are building up your tactics, it is going to be a good idea to take a look at this particular screen, just so you can analyze exactly what is going wrong with your tactics and where you might need to make improvements. The analysis screen is very good for finding out the strengths of your tactics and also finding out the weaknesses of your tactics. I would highly recommend to familiarise yourself with the analyst pages on Football Manager. So you can click up here, analysis, and just have a look through. In terms of the type of things you want to look out for, you probably want to look at where you're conceding the most goals, where the opposition is taking the most shots. Also take a look at the tactics where you seem to struggle a lot. So for example here, I can see that I do struggle quite a lot against the 4-4-2 tactic. I can see that the amount of chances that the opposition have been creating against me when they use a 4-4-2 tactic is 50, and I only actually managed to create 35 chances when I'm playing against a 4-4-2 tactic. Obviously I have recently changed my tactics, so this is my new tactic that I'm using with this particular team. I am actually in pre-season today, so yeah, it's going to be quite interesting just to have a look at how this tactic develops. During the course of the pre-season, I've just been trying to find out exactly the strengths and weaknesses of the tactic. At the moment, the tactic is just classed as accomplished, but once we do manage to kind of work on the familiarity levels of this tactic, I'm sure it's going to be working pretty well, and hopefully we can get promotion to the Scottish Premier League as soon as possible. I'm going to call this the end of the video, guys. Please do drop a like for this new series. For the letter B, and in the next episodes, we're going to be having a look at the balance of shape when creating a tactic.